Hey everybody, how you doing today? As we mentioned in the daily financial news, we have two wonderful experts with us. We have the lumberjack with us. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing awesome, Mike. Super excited to be here for segment two.
Yes, segment two. So segment one, if you haven't watched it, please go back and watch it because otherwise
Yes.
segment two is not going to be, you will not have the context for segment two. This is one of those
You'll think
ones.
we're real jerks.
Yeah, there is a part A and a part B. Just in case you haven't, part A is, you know what? A family of four, mom and dad, two kids. They have made more money than they've ever made, had lower expenses, and have a lot of cash. They should have stayed on unemployment. If you want to know more than that, go watch episode one. But now we are going to talk about karma. We're going to talk about ramifications because I think there's a lot of things coming.
Yeah.
Just as the system unwinds and we get back to somewhat of a normal economy.
Yeah.
And, first and foremost, the bad eggs who have worked the system, you have one, I have had a couple,
Yep.
they're going to find it very hard to rent another place because I don't know about you,
Yeah.
but I'm going to hit them for the maximum judgment and make sure it shows up.
I will tell you absolutely everything that I'm going to do.
Yeah.
It's really three things, and they're extremely powerful.
Mhm.
And quite frankly, yeah, I get it. That tenant, they won the battle. They've been winning the battle for the last little bit. And I will win the war because the next 7 to 10 years from them will be difficult. And it's the funny thing is it's not anything that I'm doing to be mean. It's the law. It's what I have at my fingertips for you not doing what you signed and agreed to be able to do.
Mhm.
And we're unaffected. If you were affected, Mike, as you know, I know you gave away rent
Oh, yeah.
during the time. I gave away rent during time, and it was all about communication. It was all about timing. It was all about staying steady,
Mhm.
and having those dialogues and having those conversations. And then there were people that just flat out took advantage of the system. And we've heard your story with the eviction that you got. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, there's three main things that we're going to do moving forward. One is I am not taking any more just landlord references. I will actually verify your last three rent payments,
Mhm. Yep.
because I actually had landlords lie to me last year to get rid of a garbage tenant and then give me their garbage tenant,
Yep.
which is, hey, landlord, I promise you that's not going to work out well for you in the long term.
Yeah.
That will come back to bite you. The second thing, absolutely, that we will 100% do is we are likely moving a number of these properties to short-term leases, 30, tenant at will, 30-day, that type of thing.
Yeah.
You want a long-term lease, you need to prove to me that you have killer credit score, that you have all of these other things. And again, this is all stuff that a lot of times we didn't bother checking it because we had such an amazing record. We were still at 98.6, 98.7%, still a great number as far as collected rents.
Mhm.
However, now we're going to put an added expense on our applicants because now we can't trust what people say.
Yeah.
Now we can't trust what people say. And then the third thing is, yeah, I'm going to go after every last penny, every single one. And even if it just ends up being something where they never pay me a dime, it's going to hang on their credit.
Yeah. I mean, this is, people need to hear this, right?
Yeah.
The bad actors in this
Yes.
cancel rent culture
Yep.
that the social media is really pushing out there.
Yep.
The individuals that are doing it, you may have won the war. You may have had, I mean, I had one tenant 11 months,
Yeah.
free rent, and they were high on the hog.
Yeah.
And now they have, I think it's a $42,000 judgment on their credit for, and I think it's 10 years. And again, some people come, I mean, I had one person come back to me and say, why wouldn't you take 80% from Gavin Newsom? I'm like, it wasn't Gavin Newsom's money. It wasn't he didn't sign the contract.
That's right.
That tenant did. And I spent $1,100, I think, going to court, filing attorney fees, going through the whole thing. So, full legal above board, right? You signed a contract, I signed a contract, and you knew right up front that this was a penalty. So you push back, I push back harder.
Let's talk about that a little bit, Mike, because I think that, if you guys really think from a tenant perspective,
yeah,
I'm talking to tenants right now. If you think from a tenant perspective that we're just going to smile and take it, you are sadly mistaken, because we got to this place. We sacrificed our lives. We sacrificed our free time. We sacrificed time with family. We sacrificed vacations. We sacrificed everything in the beginning to get here. And so because we did that and because we earned it to get here, we will do everything that we possibly can within the legal realm to make sure that you're held accountable for what you've done.
Mhm.
And to add to that, you need to think about this 3 things. 1, every single rental application that you ever fill from here on out, you will need to say that you've been evicted. Every single one. And for the next 3 to 5 years, depending on the state that you're in, that's going to be a very big problem for you, because last time I checked, there's a lot more people than there are houses to live in them.
Mhm.
Second thing is, every single time you go for any type of loan, personal, car loan, whatever it is, there is a section on every application that has judgments against you.
Yep.
Number 2. Number 3, every single credit score you have, you will be lucky to get a heartbeat score,
Mhm.
because it will show not only that you have that judgment against you, but that no payments have been recorded against that judgment, that you've made no effort to make that payment back.
Mhm.
So here's the good news. I've just told you all 3 things that will happen to you as a tenant if you don't find a way to make it right. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. And so all those cancel rent people out there, you can have your cancel rent. But at the end of the day, there's far fewer landlords that are going to be forced to sell than you think.
Yeah.
And when they do get forced to sell, you know, that affordable housing you really wanted, now you're not going to be able to afford it, even less, because guys like Mike and guys like me are going to go buy those properties. We're going to make them much nicer, and the rents are going up 30% because that's what the market is. And quite frankly, because there's a nice family out there that really wants a nice, beautiful, clean place to live in, they handled their business and they're going to get to rent that place from us. So we're not excluding anybody. What we're doing is creating the road for the folks that have earned it to get exactly what they deserve, because they put in the time, they put in the work, and they want a nice place for their family and a good landlord that takes care of things. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I just want people to realize the people that are on the cancel rent area, again, they've had a good year.
Yeah.
It's coming to an end. They're going to pay for it. But I'm glad you went where you did, because what's unfortunate is, even if the cancel rent culture is 1%, it's probably closer to 3 or 4 or 5. But let's say it's 1%. That 1% is going to ruin it for all tenants, because
That's
this
right.
is what's going to happen in my business and every landlord I have talked to. We're going to get far pickier. We are going to raise our criteria, right? I always talk about a box, because you don't want to break, I forget what it's called. Why am I drawing a blank on it? But basically you can't be a racist or sexist or any of those.
Yeah. Exclusionary.
Fair housing law. Fair housing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's early. I need more coffee. But you can set up a box, right? Credit score, minimum income, all of those things. Guess what? My box got tighter. I will keep a unit empty so I don't have a problem. You guys don't realize that it's cheaper to keep it empty than have a problem. So criteria are going to get tighter for all tenants.
That's right.
The application fee and process, we are going to ask for more stuff than we did before. I know some landlords are already having double deposits. They're like, nope, everybody does double deposits now. If I got to possibly hold on, double deposits. And, oh, by the way, rents are going to go up, because we need to, risk now has been proven to be significant, and rents are going to go up. And then we get to supply. Oh, supply. Oh, you guys that want affordable housing, this cancel rent culture really screwed you.
Yeah.
Because a couple of things are going to happen. Some landlords have been decimated by this, and they are actually going into their 401ks and taking equity lines to just keep limping along. They are going to want that money back. They're going to kick their tenants out as soon as it's legally available. They're going to go in and clean it up, and they're going to go sell that in a hot owner occupied market to get maximum dollars. So they are close to being whole. I don't think they will ever be whole, but they will be closer. Well, guess what? I don't know, 10, 15, 20% of rental homes are now gone, right? Especially the affordable ones.
That's right.
Other landlords who ended up losing it, there will be landlords that get foreclosed on or short saled or have to do distressed fire sales. They're going to get bought by guys like us.
That's right.
And we're going to clean them up. And this is not going to end well for tenants that need affordable housing. Rents are going to go up. Supply is going to go down. Qualifications are going to go up. And I can already hear all the screams. This is not fair. Well, you know what? It hasn't been fair to landlords the last 14 months either.
That's right.
And we tried to do the right thing, and it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, Mike and I don't talk a lot about the nasty stuff that we get.
Mhm.
We get nasty emails, we get nasty messages and things like that.
Yep.
And that's fine. We choose to ignore and move on. But, again, at the end of the day, does that really make you feel better? Like, was that the goal of that? Like, because I can honestly tell you, I don't feel bad for you. It literally makes me think exactly what you are, which
Yeah.
is you were playing the system and now that game is over. And now you can enjoy your time and basically lie in the bed in which you've created for the last 14 months. You had no concern for anybody else for the last 14 months. And because we were concerned, I took care of my tenants. And you know what was really funny, Mike? So we have most of our stuff expires the end of May, early June. We had a 95.4% renewal rate.
Wow. Yeah.
95.4%.
That's awesome.
And you've got that 1.4% or 1.3% that wasn't paying. So you do the math. That's only a few units. I'm about 70 units. So I've only got a couple of units basically, that were like, yeah, we're moving on. And it was life situation. So I get it.
Good for them. Yeah.
But, and I'm happy for them, but with tightness in this market, guys, the mainstream media is lying to you. They are not telling you what's in your best interest. And a lot of the stuff that you find on social media with this cancel rent culture and things like that they're talking about, they're the kid in the classroom that tells you, do it, I dare you, do it, I dare you. And then you're the one that gets caught. Exactly. And then you're the one that gets caught. So I really hope that people have a mind of their own on this, do the research, really understand the ramifications, because Mike and I are only going to use the facilities that are available to us. And at the end of the day, yeah, we've sacrificed a lot to build our businesses, and we just want to keep that going because we recognize that we have 98% of our tenants that are really great people that we want to provide housing for. And I never want to tell them I can't fix X because somebody, two other people aren't paying the rent, and that's throwing everything in a bad spot. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's
hopefully people understand.
Yeah. I always look for images because I think images hit home. And what I think's been going on and is think about your kid, right, on Halloween, going around picking up candy. And, they come home with the pillowcase or the jack-o'-lantern or whatever it is with their candy. If you just left them in the middle of the room and you went to bed, you would come out, and at least most kids, there would be candy everywhere and your kid would be sick.
Yes.
Right? That's what's going on. And some of you have been eating too much candy, and it's going to be time to pay. But unfortunately, this is going to impact everyone. Because again, not only that everything's going to happen, rents, tighter criteria, but another thing I'm hearing landlords do is they're going to just do month to month, no more year leases.
That's right.
Right. And do you want to talk about why people will do that?
It's easier to get people out. You have to be in constant agreement. And so it's one of those things where at any point I can give you notice and say, yep, it's over in the next 30 days. And then you have 30 days to go find someplace.
Yeah.
Imagine having to do that. Like, it doesn't really impact you guys on the West Coast or where you guys are so much, but in February here, the average temperature is like 11 and snowy. Do you want to go be looking? And you can imagine the amount of inventory that there is. Landlords around here are pretty smart. They don't have a whole lot of inventory coming available in February. And guess what? When that has very low inventory, guess what the landlords also know? What's going on in this situation that this person is looking for a place to live in February?
Mm-hmm.
They're not dumb. They're not dumb. They've been doing this. And if you find somebody that's a little bit of a rube and hasn't really done this enough, they might learn their lesson. But like I said, it's one of those things where, we know being in this area, Mike, you probably have it too. There's professional tenants that we see apply for our places multiple times because they don't know it's our place.
Yep.
And so we see them,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So again, there's going to be a downside to all of this. And I guess the last thing to really talk about, we've talked about tenants a lot, but there's also the folks that are sitting on the couch kind of waiting until the end when unemployment goose up runs out.
Yeah.
Right?
We talked about this. Yeah.
And again, in the beginning, the first episode, we're like, it makes financial sense. But as we get closer to the end, I do believe there will be a rush on jobs. I just saw that there was 8.1 million job openings right now. So people to say there aren't jobs, there's 8.1 million publicly out there available. But what's going to happen is if you wait until the end, which I think is still September in most states, I think there's actually 5 or 6 that said, nope, we're going out in June. But all the good jobs will be gone, right? There are good jobs available today. So if you wait to the end, I'm afraid that maybe the job picture looks different in October.
Yeah. And if you're working for certainly small business, which is, a large share of the jobs that are back hiring,
Mhm.
if you're working for that small business, I promise you that owner is going to be far more grateful to get you now than waiting for 2 more months.
Exactly.
So you will put yourself in a far stronger position in their eyes and putting yourself in that job market. So you might give up a little bit on the end here, but you'll be in a much, much better spot being one of the first one back in.
Yeah.
Something where they're going to say, hey, what can I train you on? Or what would you like to be trained on?
Yeah.
Right.
Where do you want to
Huge
go?
opportunity. Yeah. Huge opportunity.
And then the last thing I just want to put out there is we do need to fix the childcare thing, right? The fact that some states schools are still closed, after school activities. A lot of this issue is childcare related.
It is.
There's I don't know what the percentage is, but a big part of that is that we need to get that fixed. People need to have a place for their kids to be cared for and all of that so they can get back to work. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on, man. Any closing thoughts on all this?
Like I said, I mean, hey, tough talk, right, Mike? I mean, it's a tough talk, but we want to make sure that we certainly want landlords to listen to this advice and see what we've experienced ourselves. These are our life journeys. And if somebody can glean anything from that, that's a huge help. But I also want this to be seen by tenants because that's some tough talk that I gave, but it's factually what's going to happen. And you can't be surprised. And please, if you're in that spot and you've tried to take advantage of these situations, or even if you're in this situation now, I'm telling you, it would be your best bet to reach out to your landlord. And you don't necessarily have to apologize, even though that would go a long way if you were that person with me.
Yeah.
But at least have the conversation with them and just say, hey, this is exactly where we're at. We want to work something out because you are not going to get another place nearly as easily as you got the place that you got into now. It's the market. Hey, Mike, is the market a little bit different than it was a year ago for renting places?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, just a scotch. And that's the thing is, please take this advice. I promise it will be worth its weight. And not only that, but largely it makes you a better person for just taking care of your business.
Yeah. And then I'll just close back with something we talked about earlier. Karma's coming. If you want to clean up your karma a little bit, just start communicating. That was the biggest difference between the tenants that got some kind of credit
100%.
surge was communications. I got it. I knew where you worked. It was on your application, and I know they were shut down. I got you.
Yep.
Too crazy. All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I got a special episode for number 3. Thanks, buddy.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.